Well guys, what can I say? The Bristol Channel does it again. A fine predatory bass lurking around in the dark, murky waters of the Bristol Channel. Gonna get this one back to fight another day now. I hope you enjoy the production. Okay folks, so here we are, the one and only Bristol Channel for the day's entertainment. So the reason I've come up here today is because I had a day off, because down in my neck of the woods in Plymouth and Teignmouth and that, absolutely pouring down with rain all day. So I thought, you know what, try and get out, get another production together and see how we can get on. But out of breath, been running like hell to get to here, and I've got the brand new Century Eliminator T1000s here today, and hopefully we can see a fish out on them. Now I'm going to fish crab baits today, and the main target really is either an early smooth hound or a thornback grey. And yeah, incoming tide, not a massive tide for where I am. For those who know it, I'm up around Clevedon area, and yeah, it's you don't want massive tides up this end of it's just too much. But what I find is the neat medium tides, perfect for it really. Throughout the whole of the Clevedon area, main targets for this sort of time of year, thornback grey. For the summertime and that, smooth hound, you can get in mixed in with it, bass, congers and stuff like that. And fantastic in the winter for the cod and that as well. So going to get set up now. So on the first setup, I'm going to fish probably a big crab bait. I've got a bit of black lug with me today. I'm tempted to put one out for a sole a bit later on, depending on how it gets on. But just trying to use the rest of the bait I had left over from placing in the week, really. I mean, you don't like to waste bait. I could have froze the crabs down, but why not? Managed to get the day off due to rain. I mean, we got a lot of outside work at the minute. So I thought, you know what, why not? But guys, before you start watching the channel and watching this episode, please go down to that link below you as I'm setting up here now. You're not missing nothing, and hit that subscribe button. It helps me maintain getting out and doing these wonderful productions for you all. And I'm trying at the moment to grow the channel bigger to enable me to get out and do this more often for you. And that's what it takes at the end of the day. It will take us as a Sea Angling Adventure community to come together to help it happen. But I've been doing a lot, and I mean a lot, of sort of like studying really, and I think it's coming together. I mean, the production seemed to be going down very well with you all, and I think over the last few years we sort of like tried different things over the years to make it work, and I feel that I went at the end of the day, you always make mistakes, don't you? Everybody does. Unless you're making mistakes in life, you're not learning, and I think that's what it was down to really. But my main focus now is to include the fishing, but I'm trying to cover something for all of you. And today I'm not going to go into tutorial, okay? Today I'm just going to mainly focus on the fishing side of things. And for those of you that do want to ask questions and that, there's a lot of videos what I've done with regarding different rigs and how to make the rigs up and stuff like that, because 9 times out of 10 most of you watching this are watching it for fishing content, and at the same time I want to try and cover something for everyone. So I'm going to try and keep it educational into a sort of length, but at the same time mainly focus on the fishing sort of side of things. And hopefully we can we can make it happen between us, eh? But that one there's one there now. So I'm fishing T1000s today, and I'm fishing a pair of Saltigas, Dawa Saltigas, and I'm also going to, so they're loaded up with £20 mainline and £80 shock leader, and I'm going to fish pulley rigs, okay? So most of you know what a pulley rig is. For those that don't, just go and check it out on the page. There's a lot of different videos I've done in that with the pulley rig. And main focus today, bait-wise, is crab. Peter crab, and as most of you will know. And yeah, that's the main sort of target for bait today. I mean, the thornback rays love it, the smooth hounds love it, and hopefully we see a fish out on it. So the tide's incoming at the moment, half tide down, and I'm going to fish it up at the top of the time, probably 3 hours. Rain forecast coming in at 2 o'clock, so I haven't got loads and loads of time, but yeah, it manages to get out on this lovely Tuesday morning. Got the venue to myself. It can get quite busy down here, guys, now. There used to be a venue which I only saw a lot of locals fishing. I mean, I've had some good fish thornbacks over the years off here, and it's a quiet little spot, but I think one of the locals must have introduced it to someone, and they started bringing a lot of their friends and stuff down over the time. And as you know, Mark, it tends to happen with marks, and all of a sudden you get more and more and more people fishing it. And unfortunately, where I'm fishing, you don't get a lot of room. I mean, you've got 3 anglers down here, and you've sort of basically took up the mark. So obviously it's one of them where you want to try to get to early. I wouldn't really fish it on a weekend now, if I'm honest. I mean, it's a long way for me to come up on the off chance of getting on the mark, but I knew today I pretty much have it to myself. And it's not just this venue. I mean, you can get down at low water and fish it. The trouble is, when the tide starts to flood, further around to my left, you'll get cut off, and you don't want to be getting cut off around there. I mean, there's sheer cliff behind you. So it's sort of like right going around, and you've got a lot of beach marks and the odd rock mark here where you can get onto and stuff. All produce exactly the same sort of fish. So if you are fishing Clevedon area for the first time, obviously one thing I will recommend: boots, good pair of studded boots, and or good footwear, reliable grippy footwear. I mean, sometimes, I know a lot of people say about the studs, but depending on where you are, studs sometimes can be your own worst nightmare. So it really is, you need to know what you're walking on and stuff, and just make sure you're safe at the end of the day, guys. Don't come walking down on rocks like this anywhere in the Bristol Channel with trainers on, because you're likely to come amiss, and no one wants to see that. So that's the first rig, as I said, pulley rig. Got some bigger hooks on that today. I'm not fishing I'm fishing 4-0s. I've got a 4-0, so I've got 4-0 chinny on the bottom, and then I've got a 4-0 circle hook on the top. Just for the simple fact I'm fishing for big smooth hound, and I'm also fishing for thornback rays, and I tend to prefer a bigger hook when I'm doing so. Very strong hooks, the chin using that. So yeah, that's that. I'm fishing a rotten bottom on it. Obviously most of you know what that is. It's with a breakaway, no, a Gemini bottom, rough ground, rotten bottom release clip, and yeah, it's basic setup really. So now I'm gonna get the second rod set up. I've had a nightmare with these because I've absolutely stuck it in today, which I don't want to do. It's brand new, and it's a nightmare because I'm hoping there's going to be someone to help me pull it out. It happens to the time sometimes with new rods, doesn't it? Sometimes you could do with a nice little light brush over just to stop them from being so tight. But yeah, if I get stuck, there's no way I'm driving that with a T1000 coming back from my car. So probably what I'm going to do is see if there's any locals there, someone with a good grip who can help me release the rod a bit later on. But yeah, nightmare. It is what it is though. But all right, let's get into it. That's not coming. Okay, so next one on the agenda. Had to happen, didn't it? I felt it, and as I put it together, I felt as I pushed it in, it went bloop, and I thought, you know what, that's gone in. Nightmare. But let's get these out then, and we can see if we can get a fish out, eh? So I'll put that one down there like that a minute. So, another link clip there now, just attach my pulley rigs to, and away you go, away you go. Lovely to be out. It's, I don't know what it is, it's something about fishing, for me personally, and I said it loads of times before, that I need. I spent a couple years not... lost interest is probably the best way to describe it, but I don't know, lost the love of it. I find, especially when you're doing the type of stuff I'm doing, you find there's a lot of negativity with it, and a lot of people out to cause problems, and it's just sometimes it gets too much, and I don't know what it was really. I feel it's just like I just couldn't be bothered with it, and I spent a little bit of time away playing golf and stuff, and I could feel myself missing something, and people around me could see it as well. And my missus says it now. She can see when I go fishing and when I don't go fishing, and it's because of basically the what it gives me personally. And I think we're all like it. And it's not necessarily where I go out and catch. And I think what a lot of people will find with the productions I've been doing lately and stuff, and when they see stuff what I do like previous years and that, it's not a case of going out and constantly catching. When you see, obviously, with me putting up good fish and stuff like that, it simply is the case of time, guys. I mean, we could come up today here and blank. It's not exactly where I want to be, but because of the rain, I've sort of like come away from it slightly. And it's the nearest place that I could get where I've got a good chance of catching a decent fish, and that we can do a bit of filming at the same time. So that's the plan of attack anyway. Right, so I want some big ones. No, that's little ones there. I think that's big ones there. That is big ones there. Ideal. So we've got another pulley rig there. But it really is. I mean, just, for me, it's a release from life, and it's the adrenaline of it. It's the getting out. It's the scenery. It's sitting around there on my own, not thinking about anything else apart from trying to pull a fish out. And the camera and stuff, and that keeps me busy when at home when I'm doing a lot of editing and stuff like that. I sit there of an evening and do that sort of stuff, and I do enjoy it. And I don't know whether I'd want to do it full time is the question, but I think, I don't know. I love building. I love my job and that, and it's one of them really. But it's, if I could get the channel up to where I would like to get it to, there's no reason why I couldn't do fishing videos every single day for you. But at the same time with that, it's financial for me, because at the end of the day, I've got to live, and I've got to support family and kids and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I need to work. And it's nice to be able to do the YouTube videos and stuff like that, and I do enjoy it. But at the same time, it's not something what I can do every single day. And I get a lot of you saying, oh, can we do more productions and stuff like that? But I'm exactly the same as a lot of you guys. It's hard to manage everything with work and everyday life and stuff, you know what I mean? But I do try and do my best for you all, and I hope you enjoy what we've been putting together, because it's very hard work at times, and a lot of the comments and stuff I've seen on YouTube lately has been fantastic, with the amount of people obviously getting involved in the videos and stuff like that, and the Facebook pages and stuff, which is good. So right, that's the other pulley rig set up. Right, onto the bait now. Okay then, so what have we got in here? So we have today lots of crab, which is ideal. I'm gonna have to put my gear away in a minute and put some wet weather wear on because I believe it's gonna start raining. It's forecast not, but this is what I've sort of got for you today, guys. Woohoo! Peter crab, fresh Peter crab, which I'm gonna bind on now, and hopefully we can see a fish out on. Okay, so I'm going to get the bait elastic out, just take the legs off quickly, and then find the bait elastic. Don't think I'm going to leave the sun cream today. And then yeah, we'll get things rocking and rolling. So got to pop that one first, take the shell off. Okay, so it leaves me with a nice little bait on. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just take all the shell off the back and the legs. Now, because I'm fishing for thornbacks as well today, and I've got a chance of the odd smooth hound, I'm after that. Where I'm fishing, I'm after that beast, and it all depends. They can be here or not be here, and I think I'm a little bit too early, but at the same time, that's my focus. So I can basically now take the shell off, put these two crabs together. They're not big crabs, guys. I know before people say it, you should be using a smaller bait for hounds, but I tend to put a nice bait on for hounds. At the end of the day, it's the same as I said before, and I do appreciate the comments on that, guys, because it's exactly the same as I could have gone down placing the other day and put smaller hooks on and pulled a few smaller fish out for the camera for you. And I could have done that, okay? But to be honest, for me, I want to be able to enjoy my passion of fishing at the same time as like doing the videos and that, because I feel it's important for a start, because for me, I'd end up losing interest in it. And that's what fishing's about for me personally now, is about specimen fishing, and unfortunately you can't get them every time, but I probably could have caught a lot. And there is the thing of people that say you'll catch a bigger fish on a smaller hook. You will, but the trouble is with that, you'll also get a lot of smaller fish, and if I go down there and I'm catching like 20 smaller fish, the chance of me pulling out a big fish, because my bait is not in the water long enough, that's the way I look at it, and that's the way I fish. And a lot of people fish differently than that. Some people fish the same as that. I know guys, a lot of guys, similar to the type of fishing I do with specimen and stuff, they'll fish those bigger ones for just because of exactly what I just said then. So I've got that there now. Crab there like that. Okay, now I'm going to put this one here through the top of the crab now like that. Okay, so that is all set up. Fingers crossed. There it is, little crab bait, pennelled hook, and hopefully we can see a fish out on that. So I'm going to put this onto this rod for a second. I've seen a gentleman next to me, who I'm going to ask in a minute to give me a pop with my rod. But before that, we'll just get this one out quickly, and we'll go on. That'll be a nightmare later on if I haven't got no one around me to help me unplug that rod. I've done it many years ago with a Ziplex SU, and I was on a mark, and me and my mate were trying everything, and I ended up damaging it, and I don't want to damage a brand new rod. It's not nothing to do with anything, it's just what happens sometimes with brand new rods. And obviously the brand new, the spigot hasn't been worn in or nothing. But I'm going to get this cast out now. So that is the first one out. So what I will do, very important to set your drags, guys, especially when fishing. You get big smuck come along and it will take your rod in the water, I promise you that. It's a no-brainer. Recently I've been doing a lot of watching of different YouTube channels and stuff because of obviously the training I've been doing for the studying I've been doing for my own YouTube channel, seeing what works and stuff like that. And some of the content I come across, and especially from anglers, what are supposed to know what they're doing. And one guy I was watching, and he was saying about don't set your drag when smoothhound fishing, and I find it unreal, really, if I'm honest, because the amount of times I've seen people do it and lose rods over the years is unreal, and it will happen. I can assure you that if you get a hound coming across and it picks your rod up and that line isn't allowing to take line, the rod tip will go over and the power of the fish will literally take your rod straight into the water. And believe me, I've seen it happen. Okay, so I've moved down further to the right a little bit just because I've got a pathway down. So if I get a fish on the right rod, I can go right. If I get a fish on the left rod, I can go left. The wind slowed down a little bit. It was howling around here. We got 20-mile-an-hour southerlies at the moment, gusting higher. So as you can see, the sea is completely flat. I've chosen the venue perfectly. Just need the fish to play ball now, but I've got the crab bait out. Just about to crab bait up this other one. Kind gentleman to the left hand side of me helped me get me rod unattached, which was good. And just one of those things with new rods, guys, really. Not a lot I can do about it. Not a lot any of us can do about it. But yeah, let's get these crabs on then. So we have scissors, bait elastic, and away we go. Away we go. So, simply a case of something about peeler crab when it comes to smoothhound. I don't know what it is. They tend to love them, and as I said, where I am at the moment is very early, but there is some beast to be had up along this neck of the woods, May, June sort of time. You always get an early run of the big ones, so it is definitely worth having a go around these parts, guys. As I said, this venue I'm on at the moment, on a weekend, it can be very rammed. People get up and travel across from Wales and all over the place to get over here to make sure they've got the mark, and you'll see people coming here at low water and just camping it out. It is quite a popular mark for the last few years. I mean, going back in the 90s and stuff, you wouldn't see no one down here. We used to come down here thornback ray fishing and stuff, and you see a few good fish out in that. But 9 times out of 10, you get a ray up this sort of part, so you've got a chance of a good double-figure fish. And I find the top end of the channel, it fishes better on the neap tides, the smaller tides, battery point and all that as well. Fish better on the tides. I mean, we went up over Christmas, and because of the amount of rain, exactly the same again here today. The rain has a lot to do with how much water, fresh water comes in here, believe it or not. I was told by the locals. I never thought that because of the size of the Bristol Channel, but apparently so it does affect it. It won't affect the dogfish and the strap eels and stuff, but it does affect the rays and the cod especially. So, was that a bite I just had on that rod? No, it wasn't. Oh, nope. So, basically, cut the crab up like so. Put that one in there. All right. And then what we will do is put this crab together. As I said, they're big crab baits, not massive crab baits, but I'm after a fawny, really. I've got a chance of early smut, but I'm not being funny. If a smut comes along, a big 20-pounder comes along and sees that, it'll nab it anyway. I mean, it's shaped properly, and yeah, just get all this bait elastic around this bait up. But 9 times out of 10, I think we'll see a fawny today. I'm hoping we see a fawny today. We could blank. It is one of them. Nothing's guaranteed with fishing, and it is a venue what can be productive on its day, but at the same time, it will see you a lot of blank sessions, and that's the trouble with specimen fishing, guys. At the end of the day, I mean, there's nothing to say if you come along here with a load of 1/0 hooks and stuff, even sole and stuff. You'll get them around these sort of parts and stuff. I've never actually had one off this mark myself, but it's like the ground out at distance now. I can't see why you wouldn't get them. So hook around like so, That it just screams out fish. It's something about peeler crab, it really is. I mean, the juices, just the way it holds to the hook, it's for me it's a very sexy bait. And many will disagree. So what I'm going to do now is I've got to try and put that one back in around there, so that one comes in the bait like so. Nice. So I like to have different sides of the baits with the pennel hook point. Okay. That way I've got a pennel hook on both parts of the bait. And yeah, don't want nothing bigger hooks, like massive hooks for smooth hounding. But at the same time, I want to be able to connect with what I'm fishing for, and I'm fishing for rays at the same time. So that is lovely. Let's get it out there then. So exactly the same again. Turn it real slightly down a little bit while I get this first one out. As I said, it is quite windy here at the minute. You probably won't pick up on the sound, but southerlies are screaming. So that's there like that. I haven't got really small pulley rigs on today, guys, because I'm fishing for rays. If I was fishing for smooth hound on the reefs and that, I'd probably use a half a foot less than that. I would say that's about 3 foot. I normally like a 2 to 2.5 foot on the reefs. Keep it nice and tight, and away we go. So let's get this one out then. So that one's out there as well now. Careful coming back down off the platform. One out to the right, first one out to the left. Holding in the tide, lovely. See if we can get one out. So, rod's in the water, ratchet's set, and hopefully we can see a fish out. I mean, I can't see why we wouldn't get a fish out. I mean, prime peeler crab, and yeah, pulley rigs in the incoming tide at Clevedon. What more can you want? Just the rain to hold off would be lovely. Got my wet weather gear there, I've got the reeds gear there, and a lot of people are asking me about the reeds gear. I find it really good. I've used it for a few years now. Lightweight, it's important being lightweight for me, especially doing some of the rock marks and stuff, and the long walks and hikes and bits and pieces like that, trying to keep the weight down. But I've thrown everything at that gear, and I mean everything. It's come everywhere with me, and it's kept me dry in the most challenging conditions. And I'm big fans of the Vast gear as well, that obviously, and the Titan gear is very good as well. But for me, the number one is it's going to keep me dry, and number two, lightweight. I don't want nothing very heavy, especially when doing rock fishing and stuff like that. But no, I've had it many years now, and I do love it. I do love it. I've actually contacted Chris at Reeds recently, because that's coming to its end now. But we did do a few productions back in the day, so maybe it'd be nice to get up and see Chris and the guys, because they're based at North Devon, quite local to me as well, and they do some fantastic bits and pieces. And I think the original design was put together by Kevin Legg, one of the top North Devon anglers. And what can I say? It works perfect. And I think the design behind it, I think the Mark 1s were good. There was a few things they needed to improve, and they improved on the second Mark 2s, which come out, and they sort of like nailed it really. I mean, I've not had no issues at all with it. It's got a few rips and tears from going through bushes and that, when down to my own fault really. At the end of the day, getting to some marks and that, going through the bushes and nettles and that, as you've seen throughout the years. And yeah, it's going to have its wear and tear, but for all in all, especially for the money, it lasts. And what more can you want really? But I don't know if you can pick up, that wind is howling at the minute behind me. I wanted to be stuck behind that wall a little bit really, but we can't have it all. We can't have it all. But we're up here, peeler baits in the water, and hopefully the pulley rig's weights are pulling it out to the side. The baits are flapping in the tide, and hopefully that ray or smooth hound comes along, maybe a bass, maybe an eel, you never know. Whatever it is, it's got a good chance of it being big, especially up in the Bristol Channel. I mean, they do hold some fantastic weights when it comes to fish and stuff. Not eels especially, but bass, you've got a chance this sort of part of the woods getting some massive bass, massive thornback rays, and hopefully massive smoothhounds. So let's get into it. So some of you will notice I've changed my reels. The reason I got them from a mate of mine, and I took him down because he had the original handles to put on, and we're sitting in his kitchen and he was tightening them up, and he said, I don't over tighten, and the handles come undone. So I'm going to go pop in and see him this week and say, look, the handle's undone. No, I'll do it myself when I get home. But I just didn't want to lose the screw or anything because it's quite loose. So I've put the fathoms on today. So I've downgraded. Those Saltigas they are the Rolls Royce of reels, guys. They're very, very smooth and very, very nice. And I think I've played it. I didn't like the originals when I had my original set, the first pair I had, because I found them being too slow. But I'm not very good with reels, if I'm honest. I'm more of a builder man rather than mechanical. And good mate of mine, Joseph Rainsford, he was down at mine not so long ago, as you've seen from the productions, and he had a little play with the reel for me, and he managed to get it running super fast. And I'm in love with them. I mean, I'm a big fan, as everybody knows, of the original Penn Fathoms. But yeah, the Saltigas are, yeah, they're mint. But obviously with the T1000s today, I've bought the T1000s up just because they're a slightly heavier rod. And I need to get some grips. People were saying about why have I got to start using the T1000s and that for the 435s. I love the 435s, I've still got them, guys, but I'm waiting until I've got to get new grips for them. And I've ordered them in, so I'm just waiting for them to arrive really. But I've got rods for different occasions, and if I get big swells on and big seas and that, and I'm raying, I'll be taking the T1000s. If I'm going and I've got like rock fishing and stuff like that, I love the 435s. They're absolutely, at the end of the day, guys, one man's rods are never man's poison. One man's love for meat is never man's poison, because not everybody will like the same things. And I've heard it over the time, and people like it. Everybody's going to like their own thing at the end of the day. And what I'll say is this: each rod. Look at the Century range, for example. You've got the Eliminators, what are really, I would class as more the advanced angler, the advanced caster. Someone knows how to bend the rod and how to use the rod correctly. And they're a professional rod in my eyes, okay, because of especially T1000 and T1200s. If you just go out and you just try and cast normally with them, you won't get what you need out of the rod, and you'll think, oh, they're too stiff and stuff like that. Well, they're not. They need to be loaded correctly, and that's the main thing, guys, is at the end of the day, is loading the rod correctly. And it's surprising how many anglers don't know how to load the rod correctly, and they'll use a stiffer rod from a different range. And there's a lot of user-friendly rods out there, like the Any Fish Anywhere, the Zocron range. A lot of the rods are very easily to use, user-friendly, and they're designed for angling and fishing. And exactly when I spoke to Jay about the Zocrons originally, he said to me, I wanted to get a quality rod which is affordable to the angler, because not every angler can afford to go out and spend thousands of pounds on rods and stuff. And you look at the Century range. The Century range has done exactly the same now. They've got the flyer bait blades. They've sort of like know that not everybody can afford the money for these top end rods and stuff. So they've sort of like played around with it and bought more budget or like a user friendly rods out. But for me, if you can't look at a Grand Prix, a 435 as the same as you would the T1000, because they're different rods. For example, obviously this isn't as user friendly as a 435 or a tournament Grand Prix. I mean, if you can go out, you go out. I've had tournament Grand Prix. You can go out and you can bend them quite easily because they're a user friendly fishing rod. That's what they're made to do. Where the T1000 is an out and out beast, and it can be too much for people, and that's why I think a lot of people, they'll use it and they'll think to yourself, and exactly the same as the T900, a lot of people say to me it's really tippy, and the reason being with the T900, and exactly the same with the glass tip from Zocron, is they need to be loaded properly. You can't just get a glass tip rod and cast it like a carbon tip, because everything can be tip off the tip. And with a lot of anglers will see, you see them casting and everything is off the tip. And when I mean off the tip, they're casting inside the lead, inside of the arc of the tip. So casting off the tip. So everything is tip action. And that'll work, because look at this as an example. If you're fishing over rough grounds, you'll get a lot more leverage with a rod that bends rather than a scaffold pole. Because the pressure when you give them a scaffold pole is all off of your all off of your body strength. So all the pressure's coming from your body. Where if you're using a rod, you'll get more pressure off that, because the rod's doing half the work. So you're getting all the pressure from you're giving it, plus the rod's working and with the tip. And that's important, guys, at the end of the day, because it creates pressure to lift the fish. And I get loads of people asking all the times and stuff like that. Well, like I play around with a lot of different rods. It's something I do. I love the Ziplex range, I love the Zocron range, and I love the Century range. And it's, for me, I've got rods for different things. The Century range and the Zocron range is what I use now. The Ziplex range, I love Ziplex, and I'm very pleased that Century's took over Ziplex and they're producing rods and stuff. For me, personally, the rods aren't in the range yet, which I would personally use. I mean, the M4 GT and stuff like that, which is a famous rod for a lot of anglers and what love it up on beach and match fishing and stuff like that. The M4 I think you can get now, but for me, the HS Dymic, the HST, was one of the best rods ever made. I love the HST for raying. It was a fantastic rod, quite user friendly, cast to the horizon, and had all the backbone you needed for raying. And I love that rod. Exactly the same as the M-Force 27 SU. I mean, out and out, one of the best rods ever made, in my opinion. Not for everybody, can be quite stiff, but it had the tip on it, so you could fish for place. It was a specimen hunter's rod, in my eyes. You could fish for big place with it, you could fish for big bass with it, you could fish for big smoothhound with it, big rays, taupe, any skate, you name it, it would handle it, you know what I mean? And it was a phenomenal rod for its time. The only thing with that, since the technology, and I think Century has had this for many years now, is the technology, what they've moved in. I mean, Ziplex was still in doing the same old thing, where Century were creating new technologies and gearbox systems and stuff like that, and the rods were becoming thinner and lighter. And with that now, you've got the Zocron range, and you put the glass tip in your rod in your hand, and it is absolutely fantastic. It really is. It's so light, and the recovery from that is just phenomenal. It really is. And exactly the same with, there's a lot of rods out on the range on the market. But I will say, guys, and there's a lot of people who are in love with the T1000s. They are a very good rod in the right hands. Now, what I would say is a lot of guys what are liking stiffer rods from other ranges. This is the next step up again. It really is. And then you've got the T1200, which is the next step up again. Really, as I said, you need to be knowing what you're doing to compress these rods. For someone just coming out, there's a lot better rods available in the market if you're struggling with casting and distance and stuff like that, and learning how to cast, which I would recommend. At the end of the day, the Century range, take that for example, they've got the Fire Blades, they've got the Tip Tornado Sports, they've got the Compressor Super Sports, they've got, they're really, even the Compressor Super Sport is a very user-friendly rod. I used it back in the day, and you can compress it, even though it was a rough ground rod. And I used it for a lot of different fishing back in the day, you know, especially my eel fishing, ray fishing and stuff like that. And I used to love it, I really did. But as I say, in the Zocron range, you've got the 435 Extreme Tournament, and then you've got the Sport, the Light, and then you've got the Super Light, and the different things. They cater, and exactly the same with Any Fish Anywhere. They got the top of the range is the Grand Prix, I believe, and then you've got the Match Pro. You've got loads of different rods in that. And as I said, not forgetting any other brands and stuff, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of different rods available in the market, guys, and you need to, the easiest thing to do is to try rods and see what one works for you. Well, I'm going to be doing a Zocron casting day this summer. I'd like to invite all of you down. I'm going to probably do it at B Sands or Blackpool Sands or somewhere nice and easy to get a lot of the guys. And I'll bring them down the range, and you can use them. I might even bring my T1s down and T9s and stuff like that at the same time, so people can use them. But I've had it over the years when people were saying to me, Andy, I'm going to get the M427 SU because you're using it. And then he got it, and he was like, and I tried to tell him and warn him about it, and he got it, and he said, mate, it's too much for me. I said, I did try telling you. And he sold it straight away. And what I don't want to see, what I don't like to see is people waste money. And I think with me being able to go out there and do the, like when we go to Brid, do the Zocron casting days, getting people out there, and then it goes to show what's available in the market and the quality in that product. Because the Zocron range, in my eyes, is a fantastic product for every angler out there. I mean, it caters for everyone, and it's very user-friendly rods which will catch you fish, and they don't cost an arm and a leg, you know what I mean? And that's exactly the same as Century do also do it, and exactly Any Fish Anywhere. There's loads of different brands, Greys, there's a lot of different brands. What I find is quality. And what you'll see is quality will always outlast. And and at the end of the day, the test of time. And I know full well when I buy a Ziplex and a Century rod and I spend that sort of money, I know I'm going to be able to get it rebuilt and that over time. And exactly the same with the Zocron range. I see Zocron, in my eyes, being a lot like the old Ziplex rods. They're built behind casters and guys that know what they're doing, know the designs, know how to build rods, and it shows within the product, at the end of the day. So, as I said, guys, and just because I'm using Century today and I'm using Zocron tomorrow, and that doesn't mean I wouldn't use any other rods and recommend them. I mean, there's a lot of Achios rods what seem to be coming out the market now, what people are using and stuff. I can't comment on them because I've never used them. All I can give is comments on stuff which I know work. And I do enjoy the reviews and the tackle testing and doing stuff like that for you lot. But at the same time, guys, I like to give honest reviews. And what I find is sometimes when people give you stuff, they don't want to see you do a crap review, do they? They want to see you do an honest review. So it's hard for me to do unless I'm physically going out to buy it. I mean, all the stuff I do is stuff I've purchased. I mean, I'll go out and I bought these. I paid cash for these. I didn't get given them from Century. I went out and bought them and paid money for them. It's actually the same with my reels. It's actually the same with my 435s, some Zocron and stuff. People say to me about, oh, you're sponsored by Zocron and stuff. I'm not sponsored by Zocron. I met Jay through Adam and we sat down on a talk, and I like the ideas behind the brand and how his focus was to get a quality product out there, what matched the likes of Century and Ziplex, a quality fishing rod, what's going to last the test of time and do the business and be out there at an affordable price for the angler. And that's what they've done. They've got some phenomenal rods in the range. I mean, everyone what I've seen cast them within the casting days have been very surprised, and most of them have gone out and purchased them the following day. Matey's face with that super match or super light up at Bridlington in the video, he just loved it. You can see the excitement and enjoyment in his self. So yeah, that's what it's about at the end of the day. But yeah, let's get in some fishing. But before we go, I'd like to talk to you about something a little bit different. We talked about it earlier on. I'm going to talk to you again, and it's very, very important, guys, what I'm saying. You need to make sure when you're fishing, full raise or full smooth hound and stuff, anything like hard hitting, what's going to scream off and take line, that you're allowing the line to set. So you listen to this now. You can hear the ratchet, okay? That allows the fish to pull the tip down and take line, but won't be locked off and take my rod out of the tripod into that water. I have seen it happen with smooth hound fishing. I couldn't believe the comment when I seen it, and I thought, really? And I spoke to a few different anglers, and I was like, because it sort of puzzled me, and I thought, I'm not the only one that does that, surely. And everybody I spoke to said the same thing, and I don't know why you would lock on when you're smooth hound fishing. You got a chance of catching 20-pound smooth hounds in that Bristol Channel, monster fish. And I'll tell you what, for nothing, if you put your rod down and a 20-pound smooth hound comes along, it will take that rod in the water quicker than you can turn around and grab it, I promise you. And you end up losing your rod. And no one wants to lose their gear. You turn up with your gear, you want to be taking it home. And I can't think nothing of worse than coming up here today and losing one of the T1000s because it's been taken in the water. You don't have to set it in free spawn and put the ratchet on, so it's just allowing the fish completely take line. That don't work. You will need to allow it so the fish can take line, but the hook sets, so the hook's set and it's pulling off. So then you're next to your rod, you pick your rod up, you tighten up your drag, or you thumb the spool and strike it, right? Sometimes I'll do that. I'll thumb the spool, I'll strike, because it's locking everything in and it's setting that hook. And then if I need to, I can let the fish can take line if need to, and I can adjust my drag, okay, on the side of the reel. If I feel like I'm fishing and the fish is like I've got a good fish on, I'll readjust my drag so it allows the fish to take, if it gets to a certain point, and it can take line still. It's very important, guys, when fishing, and it's stuff you learn over time. And as I said, I wouldn't go smooth hound fishing, especially with my reels locked in, and that's the reason why. But I'm going to get this first bait up out of the water now. It's been out there probably about 20 minutes, or something like that. I've been sat here nattering to you lot, but it's no bites or nothing on it. But we'll get fresh bait on and see if we can get fish out over the top of the tide. So the tide's approached the rocks at the bottom now. Good time to start fishing properly. You can see it's quite slippy down there, so you need to watch your footwear and stuff. But you are able to land fish. Fingers crossed we can land one down there today. Okay then, let's see if we can get a fish on. I have to bring this one in first. Feels really different using these T1000s. It really does. They're a beast of the rod, as I said, guys, and a lot of rod for a lot of angler. To be honest, it's you can feel it in the tip. Just bringing this in now. I mean the T9s, because I've been using the T9s the last couple of trips. You can totally see the difference. I'm going to walk down now quickly just to get that lead up over the rough ground, and so I don't lose the lead. So, rotten bottom's worked. It's come off its release clip, and bait's still intact, which is a good thing. I'm not going to cast so far now, the tide's in. I'm literally going to chuck it. There's some rough for about 40 or 50 yards, and then it goes on to clean. There's like a little sandbar out there. So what I'm going to try and do is get my bait just on the outside of that rough ground, and hopefully we can get a fish out. Okay, so looks like there's a little dribble in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this bait undone quickly, and then I'm going to put my wet weather gear on quickly. It's not forecast, that's why I've come up here, but I can just feel it in the air. It doesn't give rain to 2 o'clock, so we'll see if the weather channel's right today, shall we? Hopefully they are, because it's a long way to come up and not get the session in. So that's that there. So loads of scent still in that crab. So there's a good thing like that, basically. But we're getting another crab out now. Whee. Right. So they're only thumb-sized crab. So I am putting 2 on for that reason. But, there's a swimming pool next to me, as you can see in the background. And you get a lot of general public coming up and fishing. I've been up here in the winter, and obviously the girls and stuff like that go up next to you, literally getting in. That's like 11 o'clock at night into the freezing cold water, and it's crazy, really, because it's not something I want to do. But apparently, it's good for the blood, isn't it? So yeah, I'll tell you what. If I get a 20-pound smut, I'll jump in there on the way home. All right, there you go, guys. If I get a 20-pound smut on camera today, I'll take a swim. I'll swim out to that blue thing in the middle, and I'll swim back. How's that? Can't be no fairer than that, eh? But squid can be quite productive for the rays up here, I find. But I've got the crab up here, and I've only brought squid for that reason, because I'm on the smooth hound hunt. It is still slightly early, and unfortunately, it's high water is the only tide I could do today. I don't want to be doing low waters and stuff over on a weekday with work next day. But there you go. So that's in there like that. Peter crab doing its thing. Scent coming out of that. Oh, lovely. Get that on the hook now. So I'll literally bring him down like that. Set him up onto that like so, and then we'll get the top hook in once he's set. People say it's too big for a smooth hound. It's not, trust me. I've been on the reefs and I've used baits like that and caught 10-pounders all day long. It's and when you're fishing for that monster as well, they'll take a whole squid bait. Okay, so my first ever smooth hound, double figure smooth hound, was on a squid bait, a whole squid bait. And it was later in the year, the squid tends to work better, especially on the reef marks and stuff. It's one because it's ideal because you ain't got to go and buy it, spend all the money on crab. But I've had them on bluey, on chesil and stuff. It really is. It's a lot to do with the surroundings, I believe, with the baits and stuff. And away you go. But I'm literally going to cast from the right hand side of me now, just to get one out. I mean, I'm not going to go a million miles with this. I don't really want to go a million miles with this. It's just a simple case of getting it out. So I'll probably do like a layback cast, just to put him in there. But for those of you who haven't seen it, there's an episode I've done on learn to cast. Me and my mate Adam Slack, we went down over Torbay area a few years ago, and it's on the channel, so do check it out. There's an extended version of it, guys. Okay, there's one there, and then there's a second one with an extended version. Do check out the extended version because it's got foot placement, and foot placement's a lot to do with the casting. Okay, especially when you're starting off and stuff. If you haven't checked that video out, do so. I think the original videos have had over 200,000 views, and the extended version's reaching 8,000 now. So it really is, for those that have seen it, do go back and check out the full version, because especially with foot placement and how to turn and stuff, it's very important. But I'm going to get this one out here now, and yeah, hopefully we can see a fish out. Lovely. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I actually felt my the rotten bottom come away then, as I was letting that go. Nice. Setting the ratchet now. Well, if you've got to pull it, you know that's working. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. So I'm going to get him down there now. Get that one there set up. Okay guys, there's a bit of a spot of rain in the air at the minute, so I've put the old reed bottoms on. So for those of you that haven't seen these before, they've been out for a few years now. They were designed by a local angler to the reed premises, Kevleg, and originally they do kayak clothing and stuff like that. And Kevin obviously went in there and obviously spoke to the guys and that in there, and sort of like come up with this design of an idea for a fishing garment. And they come up with the original Mark 1s, which were a big hit. There was stuff on there what needed improving to do with like the zips and bits and pieces like that. And then the Mark 2s come out. These are the original Mark 2s, and I've had no issues at all with them. They've been absolutely spot on. They really have. Everything's double steamed inside. They've got a really nice zip on the top of the jacket there, like so. Very lightweight, and they're just nice to use. Do them in different colours. Me personally, I love the red, and it's lightweight, and it's spot on for this type of fishing, really. And a lot of the time I do what I'm doing now, especially when I've got the car, because no one wants to get the car all covered with fishing bits and pieces and stuff. I put the Salapex on, and I've got, it just enables me to like fish comfortably. I haven't got my top half restricted when casting, and yeah, it's ideal really. As you can see, if it starts raining in a minute, I can stick the jacket on. I'll tell you what I'll do it now quickly for you, and you can have a look at it quickly. But hopefully I ain't got to use this today. But you've got the top zip there, like so. I've done the zip up now. We'll get it back in. Yeah, I will. Come on. There you go. So I've had this 4 years at least, or more. So I'm trying to think. I was working with Total Sea Fishing at the time, so it's before the Sea Angler time. So I've had this a few years, and it's not come to its end, but I want to get a new one. Okay. So a lot of you seen me wearing this before. But it's got the good thing about it, it's got the cuffs on the bottom, so I can basically tie across there, so don't get in the way when casting. It's got them on both sides. Okay, they do it custom, so if you were local, you could go in and they'd actually custom fit it to you and take all the measurements and that, which this was originally. But Mr. Webb's put a little bit of weight on since some days, as many of you will see, and yeah, trying to lose it a little bit lately, but it still fits is the main thing, and it still does its job. But the top of it is where it comes into its own, because it's got these pull straps on the side, on the top here, which tighten everything up, and you can literally sit there right up like that. It's got lovely little peak on it, and I love them. I do, I really do. I'm a big fan, and as I said, I've emailed Chris yesterday, because this one, as I said, it's not come to the end, but it could do with renewing. It's not got many years left in it, and that's pretty much down to me. As you can see here, we'll call it from a hook, and stuff like that. From the bottom, it's got a few pricks and stuff, which I've done when I've been going to rock marks and climbing through brambles and trees and stuff like that when it's been raining. Nothing to do with the gear itself, just down to my own use and abuse with it. But it still keeps me dry, and that's the main thing. As I was down there the other day, down on Salcombe, and I think that's what you want at the end of the day, guys. You need to find a product that helps you stay dry, and Vass are fantastic for it as well. I love the Vass gear. Chris has got some fantastic designs and stuff like that, and the good thing with Vass as well, they're always renewing their gear and bringing new stuff out to hit the market and stuff. And we've done a lot of work with Vass over the years and stuff like that, and I've got a lot of time for Chris. A really nice guy, and just the enthusiasm and the detail and designs and the image of it is second to none. And exactly the same with a lot of the different waterproof gears out there, you know what I mean? But for me, it's I do it's local to me, and yeah, I do highly recommend it. What could you ask for on this lovely Tuesday daytime? As I said, guys, good blank gear today. There's nothing guaranteed up in this sort of area, and it can be really hit and miss. But for those that do fish it and put the time and effort in, do reap the rewards. As you can see in the back of me there, you've got Clevedon Pier. Now, many years ago, you could fish off there. I'm not sure if you still can, but you used to do a fishing sort of like day ticket, I believe, or a local club ticket you can get in and stuff like that. And I know from catch reports back in the day, and that used to get cod, and they used to get a lot of different species off there. And I'm not sure if it still does. Maybe it'd be worth having a look and giving it a go one day. But up around the corner, then you've got Lady Bay, which is a very well-known spot. Back in the day, Henry Gilby, for those of you who remember him, one of my favourites. And yeah, I was watching the other night on the Savage Gear thing, to be honest, and it was good to see. I actually met him once, and it was the only time I've ever been starstruck. I went in to see View Angling. Nick was laughing at me, but for me, growing up, Henry was the boy, because he was doing all the presenting and like the TV stuff and that, and you know what I mean. And that, I used to watch it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? A big fan, big fan. I was gutted when they stopped doing it. And the one thing I always liked about Henry Gilby, not necessarily the angling, but it was just the joy and the excitement he put into it, and it just brought you into it. And yeah, a big fan. I went to walk in the shop, and I was just going to get some bait or something over, and Nick was in there, and I walked in, and I was like that. I must have looked like a right idiot. And he Panther laughed at me afterwards. I must have been like a little kid, and I was like, "Hello, mate. Nice to meet you." Yeah, funny. But yeah, he done one on the first point down there, Lady Bay, and it was exactly the same place where I'd done my first ever video. Because we had a few people on Facebook asking about pulley rigs, how did they do his pulley rig, and there was about 3 or 4 of us back in the Southwest 60 days, and they were saying, oh, they're all doing it and that, and I was like, bloody hell, boys, you're not even getting it right, give it here. And they're like, you can't do it, you swear too much. And I pulled it off straight away, bang, and we put it online, and it just went from there, really. But no, the episode, he was catching cod in the winter off there, and the first point is, so if you come in, I'm trying to think what the road's called, and you walk in, there's a little pathway going down to a pebble beach, but you walk past that, okay, and then when you walk past that, you come up, and there's like a point, you can get around through the bushes down there, and it brings you onto the first point. It's known as First Point. And you've got to watch the rocks, you have good footwear, but it does produce some good cod in the winter and stuff. So it's definitely worth checking out that area. But as you start going along on the main platforms there's a spot where there's a rock in front of you. That you could be quite good. I've had a ling off there many years ago. It throws conger up and stuff like that. But no, a lot of rays and stuff like that. It's quite good. And you obviously go up to the top end, then up towards Battery Point. And as you can, those of you who've seen the video, if you haven't, check it out over Christmas. Me and Gav went up there cod fishing. Very hard work. We had a cod out, but it was very hard work. We had a lot of rain around, and the local was telling us at the time that this part of the channel does suffer when you get a lot of rain for some reason. And there was trees and stuff coming down through and stuff. But surprising with the amount of fresh water, seawater was in it. I mean, second fastest tidal flow in the world, I believe. But the Bristol Channel. So was that a bite then? It really is all or nothing, guys. You're fishing for that big fish. You're fishing for that big ray or big smooth round, big crab bait on there, 2 nice big hooks. And all we're waiting for is that rod tip to go down and start screaming off. Hopefully we can get fish on camera for you today. If not, it's fishing. Not more than that I can do. But no, I was watching Emery do his Savage Gear stuff, and it was good to see him back really. And I know he was a little bit unwell the last few. I've got him on Facebook actually, and I knew he had I think he had an heart attack, I believe it or not. And he's been doing a lot of running on that, I've seen, which he looks really well and really fit. But he is someone I'd love to get onto the channel, and I think it would make. For me, it would be like I don't know, it'd just be lovely to watch and a lovely experience. But for the same time then, for the viewers of Sea Angling Adventures, because for me, there's nothing like that anymore. There really isn't. I mean, probably the last of the old school way, I believe it or not, because in this day and age now, back then you needed to do something or have skills and that to be famous and to do this sort of like fishing celebrity sort of scene. Unfortunately now, people can do it themselves and you don't really need no skill involved in it. All you need to do is pick up a camera and do exactly what I'm doing here now. But back in those days, I mean, the writers, what was on for the magazine, the journalists, the Sea Angling journalists, I think were a lot better than they are now. And I think like for Henry, for example, and Matt Hayes and stuff like that. I mean, there was real like characters and people doing it, and at the same time with the fishing what goes along. And obviously, I was lucky enough to work for Total Sea Fisher magazine, which was a dream come true for me. I was always a bigger fan of Total Sea Fishing and Sea Angler. And I remember when I was working with Total Sea Fishing and Paul Dennis, and I was over the moon. It was, you know what I mean, and at the time, obviously, when you're doing that sort of role in fishing, it tends to upset a few people. There's a lot of jealousy involved in it, and yeah, I used to get a lot of stick and stuff like that. But Paul Dennis was good as gold with me, and he was like, "Just forget about it, bio. Just forget about it. Just let it go over your head." Oh, I had a bite then. They're only trying to get a reaction out of you. Just let it go. And I think you've got to do that and be more professional when you're doing that, especially if you want to do this type of thing. And I think I've made a lot of mistakes over the years. I think it's stuff which you only learn from, really. But I remember when Sea Angler approached me, Cliff Brown, and he said, "Would you like to come and do some articles?" When I had the turbot, I won one of their competitions, and I said I'd have to speak to Paul Dennis, the Total Sea Fishing, because for me, you had to be one or the other. It was unheard of to do both. The only person that really done it at both magazines, apart from me, really, back then, was Henry Gilby. I mean, he used to send in. He was a freelance journalist. Well, he used to send out a lot of different stuff and that. And yeah, I remember speaking to Paul, and he sort of like give me the heads up a little bit to say, look, and I think it's the right decision. Just do it for both of us. And that's what I've done. I started doing stuff for Sea Angler, and it's not the same anymore, and that's why the reason I don't do it. People say to me now, why don't you do the Sea Angler stuff now? I feel that it's the fishing's gone a different way than it was, and I feel that now a lot of it really is people sending in photos, and the editors and that are just editing stories up with the photos and stuff, and it's not good, I don't feel, because and especially see the magazines in these days. I went to pick one up the other month and it was wafer thin, and I thought, what a shame, really. I mean, compared to what the magazines used to be, compared to what they are now. I mean, Chris KB, for me, for Sea Angler, is probably one of the only sort of journalists I would read in the magazine. I'm not trying to upset anybody by saying it. I mean, because he does a fantastic job with it. I mean, he covers it. He's got writing skills. He does well with his photography and stuff. And they go around like Sark and places like fishing and show stuff which is good really. But a lot of the other stuff I've seen in the magazines is to me you can see there's one person writing the stories, and it's down to the editor, isn't it? And at the end of the day, I'm not saying I'm the best writer in the world, but when I was trying to write the stories and stuff for Sea Angler magazine, most of the time my main focus was teaching people, and it always has been. I've not just started doing these YouTube videos and stuff like that originally on the thing of like jumping up and what people do now to be fishing famous. I've done it to help people, and that's what I used to do with my stories. It was always trying to cover something or the type of fishing, and trying to cover as much detail in it of what I'm doing, so the readers can read it and pick it up. Because I remember how hard it was for me, and it is hard picking up all this detail, what you have to do in sea angling, with no one to show you what to do. And I remember at the time, I remember going to Sea Angler, and Total Sea Fishing ended, and at the time I covered the southwest, so I was basically, I don't think Total Sea Fishing ended at the time originally, because I remember saying I'll go back to something, and they said no, and because I was sort of like covering the southwest, but for Sea Angler there was a different guy covering southwest and the Bristol Channel and stuff, and I started sending him like articles to the Bristol Channel, and the Anglo in particular basically kicked up a fuss and saying, "Oh, I cover the Bristol Channel." And I think at the time, Sea Anglers basically said, "Look, Andy's going to be doing it as well," and he got his got his ass in his hand and left. Which I did have a bite then, which it sort of like was ideal for me, because it opened up the whole of the southwest for me to cover. And I did enjoy writing for Sea Angler. Cliff Brown, especially, he brilliant editor, really helpful, and would help me if I was, you know what I mean. And that's the sort of thing. And to be fair, I think the other journalist at the time, he was really good at writing and the photography side of it. But unfortunately, I think the thing I added over the top of that was the simple fact of fishing ability. I mean, if people want to read about fishing, don't they? If people want to read about decent fish pulled in and stuff like that, and I think it's a sell point for the magazine if they get the right guys doing it. And I sort of like filled that box at the end of the day, which unfortunately it wasn't for him. I mean, when you're doing the journalist role, if you haven't got the knowledge and fishing and background in that, really the only thing you can do with it is do with a lot of the main sort of journalism, sort of like journalist sort of side of it, is cover decent anglers. And you look at like Shane Pullen over the years doing the stuff for Sea Angler and stuff like that. He would cover a lot of different anglers, decent anglers, and it gives their reading and their fishing content and meaning, which a lot of journalists get away with over the years, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. And you can be a really good at journalist without being a decent angler. And unfortunately, sometimes when you're trying to do so, and I feel that's what the magazine tends to do now, is they're just trying to nab at different things on social media and grabbing pictures and stuff like that. And I don't agree with it, if I'm honest. I feel that social media, the power of social media, unfortunately now, is took over. And people, even if I don't buy the magazine anymore, but people don't want to pay for stuff because they can pick it up on the internet. And I mean, back in the day, Sea Angler and Total Sea Fishing for advertisement. That's why I originally started doing it. It's because the advertisement sort of side for what I was doing, and you don't need to do that no more. I mean, the power of the social media and the networking for Sea Angler Adventures, especially what I've built up over the years now, is probably bigger than any magazine, and that's only done down to one simple thing: the internet. I mean, the power of the internet is absolutely unreal, and I think the magazines would probably agree with the fact of their magazine sort of like social media following the advertisement side is probably bigger than the magazine now, which is a shame. But it is the same as everything, everyday sort of businesses and stuff. The power of social media is unreal. But I'm going to bring that rod in now, guys, and see, because I think I've got a bit of weed on the end of that there. But I'll get another bait up in. If you can hear that noise, that's someone jumping in the water, freezing cold. It's either that or a bird. No, it is a man. Believe it or not, I don't know if you heard that noise, but it was a strange noise. Right, I'm going to bring this rod in now. It's a guy. He sounds like a bird. I don't know if you can make that up, but it's making me laugh anyway. I'll tell you what, these power handles from Gomez, absolutely fantastic. I've got that little one on that other rod, and it's just like sluggish. On this, just straight in, power. I'll step forward a minute just to get this lead up over. I think it's up there anyway. Just don't want to lose it really. 9 times out of 10, you get the gear up here, you won't lose the leads. It wasn't the man, it was the lady. Strange noise that. All right, let's get another bait up on. So, another crab bait on. So big crab baits here today, guys. Big crab baits. Try and get a bit of scent in that dirty, dirty water, because so a lot of it with fishing the Bristol Channel, okay, it's all about scent. And squid and bluey would do really well here today, and I mean really well. But if I'm honest with myself, my main focus is an early smoothhound, and the main focus is a big smoothhound for me. And even though the odds on me getting it here today are very, very slim, it is still possible. So with that in mind, that's what I'm doing, okay? But really, if I'm honest with you, I've got more chance putting a fawn back out, I think, or a dogfish. Oh, please don't say dogfish. Right, so as you can see there, nice sized bait, and we'll get him onto the rig now. So I'm going to pull that down like that. Yeah, that's it. And then bind that around like so. Whole squid out in that tide. A nice size pulley rig is the way for the fawnies. All right, bluey can be good as well. I find squid, something about squid, they love squid up here, and especially in the winter as well, it can be good for the fawnies, for the cod. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this bait in here to the side, like so. Okay, so I've got a hook at the bottom, I've got a hook at the top. That wind is howling. It really is howling. Right. That's that in. Stinking hands. And these guys fishing in that cold water, swimming in the cold water, will make some strange noises. But yeah, we're going to get him out now. All right. So going to cast him. Might cast him left up there, you know. Don't know. What should I do? No, I'm not. I'm going to stick to my guns. There's a little bit of tide movement there, though. Yeah, I am. I'm going to blast him out to the left. Okay. So, get this rotten bottom in first. Clip down. Lead in there like so. And then I'm going to literally blast him up to the left. I don't know what to think at the moment. I mean, conditions wise, perfect really for a fawny. But we haven't had no sort of signs of bites at the minute. That earlier on I didn't notice, but when I said I had a bite, it was my line further up. I had some weed coming through. You have got to watch that here. We just need some action. That's what we need. Need some action. It's not one fish, innit? That's what we were after, guys. Just one fish always makes a production, innit? It's better than the blank. It's nice to have like 3 or 4 fish, but if we can get one out, it's makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? Surprised how many people are down here. They are brave. Very brave. Rather them than me. She's going to go right in, isn't she? She's diving. She is gone. I don't know if you've seen that, guys, when she just dove right in there. Fair play to her. Fair play. Rather than me. But waiting, Dame. I am starving. I said it was breakfast. I've been up since 5. It's now 10:15, so we've got an hour and a half of the incoming still. It can fish on that back tide, so as the tide turns, that's when you can see a few fish at the same time. You get the big tides here, your lead screaming around to the right. It can be good, but it also can be. Joseph's got a production on the way, guys. It's nice. Do you know what? Over the years, we've had a nightmare with getting contributors and getting people involved in Sea Angling Adventures. Because at the end of the day, for me, it always makes things better. You get a good group of lads. And at one stage, we've done this club and that. We had some fantastic anglers involved in Sea Angling Adventures. But one thing I always find is trust. Is a lot of people get involved in the project for their own reasons, rather than at the end of the day the main focus should be for me about wanting to share knowledge and promoting the sport of sea angling. But a lot of people use it as like basically self promotion, and you can always see it come through. And what I find that hard is a lot of people over the years, you trust people and you just see what happens, and you still see people's true colours come through. And one thing I like about it now, not at all of them, but there's been a big number of them what have come and gone, which I'm glad to see the back of. And there's also ones that have come and gone, which like Cookie, for example. I love James Davis Cook, lovely lad. He's doing well with his shooting and stuff these days, and doesn't do a lot of fishing anymore. But he was a real asset to it. As a lot of you enjoyed the videos that used to do with tope fishing and stuff. Joseph Rangeford, who's on at the moment, fantastic lad. Loyal to the bone, and just to be fair, he's a real asset to the project and to what we do. And I've tried to say to him about doing some of his own videos, because he lives up on Chelsea area, and he's got some good fishing on his doorstep and stuff. So I'm hoping he'll start doing a little bit for the channel and that as well, to promote the fishing in his neck of the woods. But we had a couple of lads up in North Devon. They used to do really well. We've also had guys from all around the coast, really. I mean, obviously we have Rob York and that on at one stage, and it's the trouble is it's time consuming, and it is a lot of hard work what gets involved in it. But I'm thinking about putting it out there and maybe doing it along the like sponsored line, really, of sponsoring a few different anglers to get them to send some stuff in and stuff like that, and go from there, really. But I haven't done it, and the simple reason I haven't done it is because every time I have gone to do it, it seems to just people. I've had a few people cutting off, said, do you fancy coming on board and doing a bit of promotional work for Sea Angling Adventures and help like educate people and like teaching them like bits and pieces, hints and tips, and promote the sport? And they're like, yeah, that'd be fantastic. And you see them up on their pages and that putting on part of Sea Angling Adventures and stuff, and then you just don't see them ever sending anything in. And for me, it's not just about wearing the top. You've got to put the hard work in, and that's what it's about. It's about obviously teaching and promoting the sport of sea angling to the next generation. Because I know, as I said, guys, I do go on a little bit at times with it, but it's trying to cover everything. And my main focus is education. But at the same time, with like doing an analysis and stuff at the minute, it's trying to find the balance of having it all and what works. So what I think I'm going to do over the next couple of months is have a filming day and just basically do a lot of the rigs, a lot of the knots and everything else, and put them in separate videos. So when I'm doing the fishing videos and stuff, I don't need to do that. So I can just include basically me fishing and show the excitement of the fishing and basically stuff like that. And it helps scales down the time limit of the videos, because I know a lot of you are enjoying the longer videos, but there's a lot of me talking nonsense. But you seem to enjoy it, guys, so that's what it's about at the end of the day. But there is guys, like when I've done the cooking one the other day, I had loads of people message in saying, can you add cooking into the adventures and stuff like that? And there's a few people who didn't like it. And it's hard to get that even balance of it all, isn't it? But there is a lot of stuff on the way. And as I said before, simply hit that subscribe button. It really helps, it really helps. I mean, we've had a lot of guys recently sending over super thanks and that. And that goes down a long way, guys, and does help me. I mean, like today, for example, the cost of coming all the way up here has probably cost me nearly 50 quid to come fishing today. And I already had the bait. And I do like to get out. Having said that, I'm the same as everybody else. Costings and stuff like that is a main part of allowing me when I can get out and when I can't get out. And the more, like, basically financial support and stuff like that I do get from the channel, the better, really, because it's enables me to do more things. And as I said, the subscribers and the views and stuff, it always helps out. And a lot of you, believe it or not, watching the videos, I think it's over like 65% of that aren't like subscribed to the channel. And it's a simple case of hitting that button, hitting that subscribe button there and then. And yeah, it just keeps you up to date with everything what's going on and stuff. And at the same time, you just get notified as soon as a video hits. I mean, there's a bit of a twist video hitting the channel over the next couple of days. And you also have this video here. So lots to look forward to. Hopefully get a fish. Well, been very slow. So had a bit of dinner, early dinner. I had a banana and it got me peckish, so I had me chicken and salad. So that's all down me now. Washed down with a nice glass of water. And yeah, it's not going very well at the minute, guys. I mean, no sign of nothing. Not even a bite, not even a bite. But we'll give it, time's it now. It's got to be coming up at the top of the tide soon, I would have thought. It's just 10:47, it's high water now. So we're going to give it a couple of hours, unless the rain starts. See if we can pull a fish out. Sometimes that as that tide starts to turn, it can do the business. But, it's not looking good on this front at the minute. I think I cast that one out left last, didn't I? So I'm going to bring this other one in quickly, and then we'll get another fresh bait on it. Just to think, it's absolutely peeing down in Devon. I'm sat on the Bristol Channel without no rain. Whee! But as I said, could be a complete waste of time today. But you've got to be in it to win it. Bait's coming back untouched. And I mean completely untouched. Move that one over a minute. That. It's not touched, which is not very good, really. It's get that one in. Get another bait up. Number 2 crab. Lovely jubbly. Okay, I want this shelled. I tend to just put the harder parts snipped off with scissors, and then you can literally just run your fingers over. Comes that prime then. To be honest, that is a nice sized bait. They are big baits. Do you know what? I'm going to try a smaller bait in a minute. See how we get on with that. But it's a shame really, because there is scent coming out of that still. Do you know what? I'm going to add it on. There's loads of scent in that still, so it's a shame just to waste it, isn't it? I had a guy earlier on come down. He said he's going to watch the channel, but he's going smooth around in Wales a weekend, and he was saying, do you know what? The price of crab now is unreal, isn't it? I mean, some people charge like $1.40 a crab further up the line. We're quite lucky in our neck of the woods, are still reasonably priced. But a lot of guys, like he said, he's going to go on to prawn now for the smooth round, and prawn can be a fantastic bait for smooth round. It really can. I mean, if I never had a crab in the freezer and I wanted to come up here, prawn, I'd take prawn 100%. Prawn would be fantastic for the rays as well. So I'm going to get this one here out now and see if we can get a fish on. It's a big crab bait, that. Look at that. Look at that. Bit big for a smut, you say. See if we can get one out then. Not really hitting them. Woo. Sword fight. Not really hitting them, guys. Just a gentle hit out there then. There you go. All we need now is that rod tip to go arching over, fish on. So, just a waiting game now. Very, very slow. So, they must be freezing. Say it's good for the blood, don't they? Cold water. Some guy down there in his speedos just loves it. Rather than me, I'll tell you what, it looks blimey cold, But no, it seems to be something what a lot of people are interested in doing on this lovely Tuesday morning. There's been quite a few people there now. But believe it or not, the tide comes right up over here on big tides, and I'm sure there would probably be fish in there. I would have thought. It's all seawater. And parking's quite easy enough here as well. There's a couple of car parks which you can park in. There's parking further along as well. I think there's some free parking further along, which is ideal really, because if you want to go and fish of an evening on the rocks on the other side, that can be really productive. That it's not a bad place to fish, and it's a lot easier than a lot of the old like reef marks and stuff like that. I mean, it's even if you get up here and there's people on this mark, there's other marks you can go to around. You've got Lady Bay there, you've got the end point on the air, you've got the two rock outcrops there, you've got the main beach there. You get thornbacks throughout it. It is quite a productive place for thornbacks. I mean, the last 3 sessions I've had up here, last session I had up here I had a thornback, and the session before that I come up here with a mate of mine. It flew gone. Gone. Unfortunately, yeah. I didn't have a chance. I went to try and grab it. It went right through my tripod and went right up through the water. Yeah, nightmare. Yeah, lady lost her bag. But yeah, nightmare. I think is obviously the swimmer, she put her bag down with her clothes and the bags took off and it went right past me. I didn't have a chance to get it. It's gone off, which is unfortunate. The last thing you want to see is a bag floating around in the sea, isn't it? But it's one of them really. I can't do much about the wind. It is howling around there. But yeah, as I said, the session before that, we seen 11 pounder out. My mate of mine, Luke, he had an 11 pounder off here. So you can see some good fish. The same as Lady Bay now. They're all produced on the day. It really is just a case of putting the time in. And as I said, if you want to fish around this sort of area, my advice would be to you is to get early, because it does get quite busy. I mean, as I said, over the years, you used to come back here in the 90s, late 90s and the early 2000s and that, you guarantee you pretty much get this mark to yourself. Unfortunately, over the years, I think from what I know of, I think one of the local lads took someone over, and then they decided to take a few friends and a few friends. Before you know it, it's sort of like you can't blame people really. It's an easy place to fish. Out the car, you know what I mean? Walking 5 minutes straight onto the, not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and you're straight onto the mark. But it's exactly the same with the beaches and stuff like that here. It's there's 2 rock outcrops on the main beach. In between here and the pier, and the second one, I like the second one because you can walk out onto it. You come down some steps, walk out onto it, and even on the bigger tide and that as well, you get the height. And I don't know what it is. I think it's just me being silly, really. But it's actually the same when I go place fishing. I've got a lovely sandy beach next to me. What do? Go off the rocks. But something about rock fishing. You always think to yourself, rock, deeper water fish maybe. It's not always the case, is it? And there's one of them, but hopefully we can get a fish out of there. It's a long way to come up for, if not. But as I said, it's fishing. It's better to be out here than not. I mean, I've been fishing a couple of times this week, and I feel really relaxed. I mean, last week it was just constant with work, and I can assure you, a lot of us feel like it, didn't we? You can't wait for the weekends to come, and as soon as the weekend comes, you think to yourself, and get out and have a bit of fishing. And the weather is an absolute nightmare, and it's been like that for months, guys, isn't it now? Just can't get out and do nothing. It's annoying, isn't it, really? Like the other day with me, spent a fortune on getting me blacks, getting me rag, getting me crab, everything together, all my rigs and that, everything was perfect, except from the weather. We ended up going down East Portmouth. We've seen a couple of bass out for the video, which was all right, but not exactly what you want, is it? You want to see those big place, but no, it could put a bend in the rod. It was a nice few hours out. I think that is what it is most of the time, isn't it? It's about being out and just sitting down here looking across on the sea. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It's peeing down with rain back home, and I'm sat on the Bristol Channel in the dry, and it's overcast, but it's quite a clear day. I can see right away across to Wales, Aberfoyle and all that, looking up through. I mean, I was tempted to go that side for a raid today, but I didn't because of the winds. I mean, you can feel them a little bit here now, but if you've got that in your face at like 20, 30 mile an hour, it's not going to be very comfortable, is it? But main thing for me is to get you guys some productions. So that's why I'm here. So I'm going to bring this one in here now. I think the trick sometimes is when your baits are coming back in perfect condition like that, I tend to leave them a little bit longer. I mean, both the baits I've brought back here so far, so what have I had? I've had probably 6 casts, and yeah, it's one of them. Every time I brought the bait back, nothing's been smashed on it, nothing's been ate on it, and they're coming back in prime condition still, and it's still, I give them a quick squeeze and there's still juices coming out of there. So as long as there's scent in the water and the bait's in the water, there's a chance of catching a fish on it. So what I'm going to do now is bring this left hand side in. Oh yeah. See if we can get one on. I do like the T1s. They it takes some getting used to. You've got to slow everything down more. You've got to let the lead load the rod. That's the trick of it, and not try and cast the rod. It probably sounds a bit weird, but if you go and cast like you normally do, very quick into it, the rod won't like it. If you allow the lead to do its thing, and it at the right time, you'll get into the midsection of the rod, and that's where the power is to bend it. I mean, and if you bend this rod, come forward. If you bend this rod, it will see your bait going out a very, very long way. As I said, a lot of the tournament casters I've seen, the big hitters use the T1000s, and you can see why. I mean, you get into that midsection and it's doing its thing. But I'm going to do something different on this next one. All right, I'm gonna hit a bait in close. I'm going to use the rotten bottom, and I'm literally going to put it in very close. Because I'm putting it in quite close, I'm going to see that bait there now. If I give that a squeeze, I've still got loads of scent left on that, and a lot of people just cut that off now. I don't see the need. I mean, crabs are quite expensive as they are, falling all over the place here. It can be quite uncomfortable. I mean, they're not flat, completely flat rocks, but see if we can get a fish out. Bit different. I've using frozen bait. I'd probably take it off and put fresh on now, because I'm using crab, and if I go home with some, ideal, because I've got some for another day, and it's not the sort of thing I just want to chuck away. But at the same time, it's looking more like a bass bait now. So you get rays on it, but it is looking rather like a bass bait. Bit big for a hound, that one, my liking. But ayo, it is what it is. And get a nice bass out with a camera on it, why not, eh? Right. The trick is now, because this is quite a bigger bait, is to make sure that hook is exposed. Really important, right? That is looking lovely as well. Oh, lovely. You got a chance of some big bass up along here. 9 times out of 10, you get a bass up this neck of the woods, it's £5 plus. They do throw up some good bass. So, because it's quite quiet over the top of the tide, I thought, why not? You know what I mean? Why not? The tide start running again in a minute. Literally slack water. But I'm just gonna overhead thump this. I'm gonna set the rig up properly first, and then I'm gonna hit that one there, get that right up on the top, and I reckon I'm gonna hit him about 40 yards out to the left, right? Where the eels, where the bass, where the rougher ground is, where more likely the crab's going to be. So if I just go in swing, out swing, stopping, 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 stopping. Yeah, right. So I'm about 40 yards out there, and I'm on the rough, all right? Exactly where I wanted to be. I'm going to do this a bit different now. So put that upright in my cups, and I'm going to set the drag. Alright, so because I've got it closer in, there's a lot of rough ground there, what I tend to do is put the rod tip up a bit higher, because then what that'll do is it'll stop all the line from going over the rough ground like that, and it's more at an angle. The rig will be laying like flat anyway, as the line hits the water and come down like that and naturally flatten out. But good chance of a big bass on that. So I'm going to bring the other one in as now as well. Give it a fresh bait. Saying that, that's not been out there that long. I'm going to leave that one. Leave that one a minute, and I'll give him 10 minutes. I'll give him another 10 minutes. It's a big bait on that, so it's a bulked up bait as well. So hopefully the I'll tell you what, that wind's howling round there now. Someone's left all the imps on the floor. They must open the box and they've come out everywhere. I'll help them pick them up and put them somewhere nice and safe. They're ideal, they are, aren't they? Right guys, okay, so getting a bite on that left rod at the moment. Hopefully we're in. I think. Yeah, we're in. We got one. We got one. Lovely. That's what we want. Yeah, sea bass, mate. Here, go back. I'll put him back. Yeah. Yeah, first one of the day, yeah. Got an audience for that one as well. So there you are. That's what we're after on that one there. Big crab bait produces this lovely bass, probably £3-ish, I would say, something like that. But what a fantastic fish from the Bristol Channel. Look at that, just predatory. You've got to watch it with these, the spikes in the back when you're holding them. But what a fantastic fish. Check it out, guys. Okay guys, as I said, lovely silver bar, and I thought that bait there would produce it. Gonna get this one back now to fight another day, okay? It's very important for me when I'm going and return these fish. Lovely plate size for the summer, but we're gonna get them back now. So I said, literally when you're holding them, lip hold them, I can literally bend down now to the sea. He's ready to kick straight away, and we'll let him fly. Tail gone, back to fight another day. That's what we're after. I mean, not always about taking the fish to eat. For me, it's preserving them and basically allowing them to get bigger, hopefully 10, 15 pounds, so I can catch it again one day. But if not, some other lucky angler hopefully will, and that's what I call protecting the sport, because if you're going to take everything you catch, they're never going to get bigger. But at the end of the day, some people argue with like commercial fisheries and stuff like that, but you just got to do what you can do. First fish out, ideal. Starting to get a bit of tide now, so it's like starting to pull round slightly, and that's what you want again. Tide is the key. So when you're fishing, you want your tips bending around, and always find that normally works. First fish out for the day. Hopefully you get another one. Scissors, look at the scissors. Okay then, I've lost my scissors. I don't know where they've gone. They couldn't have gone very far, but I can't find them. So, first fish out, and as I said, perfect bass bait, that last one, and it produced a good. Sometimes when things are getting tricky, it's always worth going for, because sometimes it can save you the blank, as it did to me today. But it's I could see it straight away. The tip started going, it went straight over, lifted my lead, and then I lifted straight up into it. But the bass, you don't need a cast for, guys. Really, literally overhead lob, or literally just flick it in close. I mean, there's specific places up on the channel which I wouldn't cast at all. I'd literally drop my rod into deeper waters over high water. And as I said, 9 times out of 10, you're in with a decent one. Not like the ones we were getting the other day, the schoolies. Yeah, you got a chance of catching an half decent fish. So I'm going to do exactly the same again now. I'm just going to bulk out this bait. I mean, if there's a bass around, it's might be a couple, eh? But that one there, exactly the same as I said before. It's on the circle hook on the top. Done the business straight in, and that's what I tend to find with fishing the snail rig. It's as I said, people can fish a dongle. I'm not really a fan. At the end of the day, if you're fishing something and it works, I just don't see the point in changing, if I'm totally honest with you. But as you can see, the rig's catching. It's not like you're missing bites and missing fish. It works a treat. So exactly the same again now. That tide's moved around left there, so I know my rig's right out there now. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to chuck this one in close, but I'm going to go to the right hand side now. Okay, so I'm just going to clear that bait round. Perfect. Loads of scent, and exactly what we need for fishing the Bristol Channel. For those that have never fished it, very murky water. So you want to try and get your stinky baits out there, and the scent is the key. Scent is always the key. But you can hear my reel ticking off there now, because the tide is starting to pull, which I want. I want a bit of tide. So I'll clip them in there like so. Pick the rig up. Exactly the same now. I'm just going to literally cast him out underneath. I've got that circle hook real proud at the top of the bait on the snail rig. Just going to make sure that the bait release rotten bottom from Gemini's there. And all I'm going to do is a simple overhead lob now, guys. Get them in there close. All right. Not a million miles, 40 yards exactly the same, but just gone right this time. And hopefully that can find another one. Lovely. So we're back at it. Back at it. Always nice to get that one out the way, innit? You get that first fish in and it sort of like pressures off. It's nothing worse than doing a production, for me personally, and having it where there's no fish. At the end of the day, no one wants to sit there and watch blanking after blanking. And unfortunately, guys, a lot of the time with specimen hunting, that's what it is. And it's something, when you commit to specimen hunting, you give up on with the rest of your fishing. Because if you want to go out and catch fish and enjoy just catching fish, specimen hunting is definitely not the way. I mean, I'm a great believer the mark makes the angler. It's not the other way around. And then you need the fish in front of you. You need those type of fish in front of you. If you're specimen hunting, you need to be fishing venues where those bigger fish lay up and stuff. And as I said, if I'm really here, I thought we had a smooth hound then. The way it was good darting off, it wasn't, unfortunately, it was the bass. But I should have known a little bit, because it felt like a small fish. Normally, you get one up here, you've got a chance of monsters, like 15-pound pluses. There's been some 17s and 18s caught up this neck of the woods, especially the Lady Bay further up throughout the year and stuff. And it's always like May, June sort of time. They sort of like make their way up here and then they drop back over the reefs and stuff. But I'm getting a bite on the ray on the left. I say the ray rod on the other rod now. Something's playing around with it there. But I'm going to have a quick look for my scissors, and then we will carry on the adventure, because they've got to be here somewhere. So we have bites straight away, okay? On the back, targeting bass on the right one now, and big pullover then. A lot of the time, if I'm targeting bass, I wouldn't set, depending where I was, I wouldn't set the drag, because what I find with the bass, especially, you want to get there straight away. But I've still got the drag on that, because if a hound comes along, the hounds are ones you want to watch, guys, because they do take off like steam trains, and I mean gone. You get them on the good ones on the reef, and they stay deep, and you'll know, because they'll just hold out, and they'll just hold to the bottom, and they'll just sit there nogging their head, and you can't move them, and then suddenly you start putting pressure, and they'll start move, and they either go right or left. 9 times out of 10 they'll go with the tide, and use the tide for the force, and just using every part of what's around them and the surroundings to use to get away from you and to break free from your line. And obviously going with the tide, it gives them that extra bit of force, and as long as your main lines are intact and your leader knots are good, you should land them. Very important, leader knots. Using the right leader knot. The Bimini twist, fantastic leader knot to use for this type of fishing, especially on the Bristol Channel. I mean, it just enables you to have a bit of spring there. 9 times out of 10, it will go on the line, not on the knot. And that's due to, like, basically when the line's touching over rocks and bits and pieces, it'll cause wink parks. It shouldn't go. It will land some fantastic fish, the Bimini twist. Something's playing around there. Wind's going a little bit as well at the minute. That's not helping. As you can see, I've kept my rod tip high, as I said before, on that, because it's closer in, and you've got a lot of broken rocks. It's a bit like the rocks I stood on when I was releasing it down over there, and gravel rocks and loads of like bits and pieces. If you're not using rotten bottoms, you get caught in. You can get caught in on. Been down over low water. You go down over low water, and you can actually fish off the ground in front of you, up over onto this, like to the sand and mud. Tide's pulling away on that left one. Can we get that double-figured bass? Imagine that today. What a sight. When he goes up the channel and pulls a bass out like that. Woo! Can't see that happening, but you never know. It's fishing. Anything's possible. I want that ratchet ticking off on there on a ray now. It'd be nice to get him up and get a ray. Nice 10-pounder. It'd be lovely. So, weight-wise, personally, if I'm out for a fawny, I want a 10-pound fish. If I'm after a smooth hound, you're always after a 10-pound plus, aren't you? But getting bites there on that left rod, on that right rod, on the bass rod. So you will pick up a lot of eels and stuff like that as well, guys. Something definitely playing around with it. I keep on getting the bounces, but it hasn't hooked yet. 9 times out of 10 when that's happened is smaller fish. Oh, guys, love it in that water. I'll bring this one in a minute now. It's been out a little while, and try and get a fresher bait on him. Definitely see the difference with the handles. Gomez handle, especially in the power position, just makes it feel easy, where these handles, it does make it feel like you're having to do your business with it. I think it's just because it's that much further out. I'm getting bites on that other rod still. I'm just going to get this one in a minute. I'd love to have a squid now. Bit of squid would be lovely. I'm going to put this one, get this one set right back up with a crab bait, and then we'll see if we can get one out. I reckon that's a strap heel playing around with that one, you know. But I'm going to strip this one down and put a whole completely fresh bait on, because I want a smaller bait on this really. The other one's out just basically one in close, as a lot of anglers would do, and one out at distance, and it goes to show, because sometimes you can overcast a fish. As today we have been, there's nothing seems to be out at range, but there does seem to be stuff in close. So sometimes if you're catching nothing, it is nice to catch a bass. I mean, just to put a bend in the rod more than anything, isn't it? So let's get a nice crab bait out. Nice crab there. And around this one here looks like he's ready to pop as well. Lovely, he's popped for me. Oh, that was nice of him, wasn't it? Whee, look at that. Don't get that very often, do you? So yeah, he's pop. I do, just a little brush off over with the fingers, and I can cut him right into place. So I'll get him on now. Okay, so lovely and juicy orange juices, dark orange juices coming out of the crab, which is exactly what I want. And then trying to keep an eye on that rod at the same time though. And we'll get him squeezing around like that. Lovely, look at that juice. Okay, I'm going to go right up to the shank, but I want to bring the crab up a little bit so I can get my top hook in. And away we go, away we go. So there you go. It's not a massive bait, perfect smooth hound bait really, that is now. And when I seen that fish dart, because it went slack on me, and then so I looked to the left and it was going up with the tide, I thought please, and then yeah, not the one, not the one. Okay, so circle is underneath there like that now. Bring him through the top of the bait. Right, so that is prime. Let's see that? Juices are all over me. Just get the lead set up now, and away we go. I'm going to wind this next one up and try and get a bit of distance with him. Get him on the back end of that sandbar, hopefully. Tighten the grip leads up. And then we can pop him in like that. Pop that seaweed back in the box. And then hook that one up. That's got fish written all over it. See that? All over it. Nice big circle work hanging up the top, chinny on the bottom, and we just got to try and get one out now. Let's go and get it. All right, because this is going to go where it wants to go in the tide, I can afford to go left slightly because the other one's in close. That's out there. Wind with me as well on that, and 160, 170 yards I would say. And yeah, half a spool of line still left on. So I'll put him down in here like that now. Now I had a question come through the other day, and a lad asked me, said he's seen videos of guys spooling reels. Can you do that? And I'll be honest with you, no. If you've got a reel, when you're casting, the more line you get over your spool, the further the lead will go, okay, because the way it comes off, okay? So Steve Puckey, a friend of Nick Panther's, told me this years ago, and it's true. So with my reels, I fill them up to the limit, right? And even with a really good cast, you still got loads of line left on. So what I think guys are doing these days now is they're getting the fathoms and they're getting the other like dowers and stuff like that, and then basically half spooling the reel. and then basically on camera doing the reel and showing like that, and then casting them and showing the line going to the end. And you would never spool a loaded 10 fathom to the brim. I don't care who you are. Adam Slack, good mate of mine, 300 yards caster, and he would never spool it, never. Even with like fishing, put the fishing lead on and this and it, he won't do it, because of the amount of line what's held on it. And you're fishing a 0.40, 0.36, depending what line you're fishing. Half the time you're using 20 pound main line, maybe 18. Most likely other times you're never going to be fishing 15 pounds on the Bristol Channel if you're going to fish properly with it. I mean, there's a lot of like rougher ground than that, and one nip with a 15 pound line, it turns into 10 pound line, doesn't it? The last thing you want to be doing is targeting rays and hounds and stuff like that with light lines and getting snagged up and having fish running around out the sea with hooks netting. So the answer to that question, as I told the guy, is no. If there's a lot of guys, it looks good for the camera, I could do it. You could like literally put on half a spool of line, go like that with a leader, fling it around and see it going out and come to the end. And yeah, it does look good. It's more of a camera trick really, rather than real life footage. Because a fully loaded reel you'd never spool it. You wouldn't spool it. I mean, it's a very long way. I'm not sure what these hold. I can find out, but yeah, I've yet to see someone do it fully brimmed to spool completely. Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it at all. But it's absolutely lovely out there, guys. Look at this. Completely flat calm from the southerly wind. Bristol Channel. Fishing with the Century T1000s. 20 pound main line, 80 pound leader. Hopefully we can see another fish on in a minute. So unfortunately the rain has just started, but it ain't going to stop us yet. But as you can see, off that rod here is the one I basically blasted far out right. 7 ounce lead, and it's pulling now in the tide. It's just pulled right the way around at the minute, and it's just going to do its thing, I suppose. It'll probably eventually pull right back around into the rougher ground there, but it's holding there at the minute, which is good. It's good when you get rays now, because when you get rays, they take off in the tide and they're going off like that. As you bring it in, they come in sideways. And yeah, it's fantastic to see. You literally come down, pick them up, get them out of the water. Nice photo, we'll get them returned. Hopefully we can get a 10 pounder on camera. It'd be lovely, guys. Now, watch that rod tip smash right over. Line screaming off, and another 5 minutes of rod bending action. That's all we can ask for, isn't it? All we can ask for. Give 2 o'clock the rain forecast was, and I think we've not done too bad. I'm not sure what time it is. It's probably coming closer to 1 o'clock, I would say. But no, it's held off enough. We've done what we wanted to do. We got up, we got a bit of footage, got fish on camera for the day. It's always nice. Let's wait for that rod tip now. Right, let's bring this reel in a minute. I'll get another fresh bait on this one. We ain't got long now. I reckon another hour and a half. Could fish it all the way down, but I'm not. I'm try and get this production together over this evening for you, and then hopefully try and get out again midweek. Lovely. Right, let's get this one baited up now. Single crab again this time. We get 2 baits out there now. Hopefully we can get one on it. What I tend to do is cut up along the top of the legs, just to makes it easier with just taking off the harder bits of shell then. Pull to the side like that. Then I'll just cut him in half, just to bind him up onto the hook. And then we have one. To be honest, there's loads of scent. I'm tempted to go and put one up for a big bass. I really am, because we're not getting nothing at distance, are we? So, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. Come up here for a big smoothhound and a double figure thornback ray, and ended up bass fishing. How was that? I'm not feeding it. I mean, we had no bites at all. I know it only takes out one bite, but get a nice double figure bass out for the camera. I'll be happy. I loves a big bass. It's a nice silver big bar. Can't go wrong. Right. So we'll move that around like so. And then making sure that big circle's exposed at the top. So we can get this one here out now. See if we can get in to a big bass. Big baits, big fish, as they say. The old mate Steve Gregory used to say that. Fantastic angler. One of my angling heroes. Never one of my angling heroes. We've talked about all of them today. There we go. Right. Look at that. That. Big circle up at the top. Sort of literally lobbing forward now. Got a lady there, so I've got to watch what I'm doing here now. Yeah, it's going to literally go over the top. Waiting game once again. Waiting game once again. It's about 10 minutes later now, and not a lot seems to be happening still. Bait's been out there. Big bass bait, big fawny bait. It's a monster crab bait, so hopefully something nabs that up. The other one's literally as far as I can see out in the tide. Well, that's probably going over it a little bit, but it's right out there in the tide. Don't know if you can see a buoy out there to the right hand side. I probably cast to the left hand side of that, just past the buoy, and it's literally pulled right around. So I know that it's right into that tide. So we're not going over now. Thornback ray. If we don't get the smooth hound, let's get a thornback ray, eh? Lovely for the camera, isn't it? Nice fawny and a nice bass. And to be honest, apart from that, you can't really ask for much more, can you? But a nice day's fishing. Beats being at work anyway. I've had enough of all that work recently. I'm away next week, off to the sunny side of Mallorca. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm trying to think what the place is called. Sarcoma, I think. Oh, that was a bite. Hopefully we've got it. It sounded really ray, that. Could have been a smaller fish. Got a 7-ounce lead on there. pulls off again, I'm going to get into it. But it's quite bouncy. It could be an eel. Yes, the t-shirt's come out. It's getting warm. Sun does come up for a second. It looks like black cloud was coming through, but I sat there sweating in my jumper. Nothing more happening on that rod there. I reckon that was an eel, you know, because it looked quite bouncy. Maybe little snotty eels come along and try to have a go at it. Nothing's happening yet, but it is what it is. So I'm not sure what to do the weekend yet. I will be out and about, trying to catch a few fish, no doubt. But may try channel again, if I'm honest. And get a few more crab. End up and see what's what. It's a transitional period really now. I mean, there's certain things we could go for down my neck of the woods, but it's always going to be hard work until it starts kicking off properly. I mean, you tend to get a lot of spider crabs around this sort of time with going rain and that, and it can be an absolute nightmare, mate. I'll tell you, absolute nightmare. Something there playing around, unless it's weed on my line. It was bouncy a little bit earlier on, but who knows? Who knows? Really is a lovely day. Really is a lovely day. Be interested to go out on that Clevedon pier, just to see if you can still fish off it, because I know you used to be able to fish on it. Might make a nice little adventure, that, something a bit different. Definitely getting bites there on that left rod. So it looks rattly though. It looks eely to me. You know what I'm tempted to do? I've got a rig in there, what I use for sole, and I've got a couple of black lugs still in there. I'm tempted to put one out, you know. You can't do it all, that's the trouble, can you? It's sort of, you got to sort of like pick what you're going to do. Even though we like to do it all, But the way I look at fishing, everybody does a lot of different things with fishing, don't they? But me personally, I'm out to beat my personal bests. That's what I tend to do. I mean, with the club fishing and stuff, it was really good because it got me out more. Quite competitive within that. But now I just want to enjoy it. If I'm honest, I just want to enjoy my fishing. Have a laugh. We've started the Specimen Awards now, so we've got a couple of like monthly shore league matches, which I'm looking forward to. Gets us out and about, you know what I mean? Definitely getting a bite on that rod. Yeah, just meeting different people and that. I know it's all part of fishing for me. I mean, over the years, I've met some really good people through fishing, which is good, isn't it? I mean, people that I would normally have not met through different reasons in life, you know what I mean? Just from different hobbies and different experiences and different lifestyles, so to speak. And I've met some really close friends as well through it. And it's surprising, really, how fishing can bring you together outside of that. I mean, I've got some really good friends, which I don't tend to see a lot because they don't fish so much anymore, but we still stay in contact quite often and stuff, which is always nice. And I'm forever inviting them out. It'd be nice to see Stewie Norris out and about. And some of you remember him from Stewie from the Christmas special when we went down to Cornwall and stuff. I mean, he does a lot in Norway and stuff like that. He don't really get out a lot anymore, but he plays a lot of Warzone. In lockdown, because we couldn't fish or nothing, all we'd done was sit on the police station and play Warzone. It was like our break from life, so to speak, with everything that was going on. I mean, you could put the headset on and sit there and play computer. And for a load of like middle-aged men, we used to be on there for hours, and I mean hours. I would get on there like 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and be on there till like 4 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, it's just, it was quite good, to be fair. And a few of us still play it here and there. I still play it, turn it on and off, just to like keep up with the lads and stuff, and communicate with the lads half the time. But yeah, it was a bit of fun and stuff for lockdown, but it can be quite addictive. But I know he's doing football. He took up a football manager's role for the local kids football team. So I know he's been quite busy with that. He's got a son, I think he's approaching teenage years now as well. So that's obviously with family commitments as well. It's hard to get out sometimes, isn't it? But it's nice that I've been on at him recently, trying to get him out and about, trying to get down Cornwall for a couple of long camping sessions and that. Gav hopefully will be back in the summer, which would be nice. Right rod's going now. Oh, that looked rayy. Be lovely, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'm the only one with the art in it at the minute. I can't get it off my brain. I really can't. It's just fishing, which isn't good, as I explained before, because people do suffer around me. People can see it. I'll go into like fixed. When I'm specimen hunting, it's even worse. It's when I'm club fishing. That's one of the reasons I'd never do club fishing again, because when I'm club fishing, I'm absolutely terrible, and I feel a bit of an idiot, a knobber, and not probably the best way to describe it, because I just I just want to catch that fish, and I just put time, and I'm very secretive when it comes to that type of fishing. Because at the end of the day, you're putting a lot of time and effort into places where to fish and stuff like that, and you don't want people to know, because at the end of the day, if people in your club find out, they're down there fishing the same marks and stuff, and at the end of the day, club fishing is about beating one another, and that's what it is. It's competitiveness. At the end of the day, you want to try and be the best and do what you can do. But when I first started doing it, it wasn't too bad. Then I started getting into it, and it made me I'm a different person. My missus says the same. I'm just one-track minded, and that's it. You know what I mean? I'm going to work, come home, bait's ready, gear's ready, I'm out fishing. And when you're doing that 5 nights a week, sometimes I couldn't do it 7 nights a week. I'll be too tired. It does have an effect on people, and I know fishing's fun, and I know it's something which shouldn't take over your life, but for me, when I'm in that zone, it takes over my life, and I don't really want to go back there, if I'm honest. I've been enjoying doing the YouTube channel. I've been enjoying enjoying my fishing, really. I do a lot of fishing on my own, which I enjoy because it gives me time. And it's nice to go with friends and that, but like on Salcombe the weekend, I'm sat down there having a nice, to be honest, it would be nice to sit down there an evening and camp out overnight, because you could have a nice glass of wine with a steak end, wouldn't you? But no, it's, for me, that's what it's about. It's just a break. And hopefully this break can see another fish landed. I don't see it now. All it takes is that one bite, though. But I am rambling on, so I will stop there. But yeah, the Bristol Channel, eh? The Bristol Channel. Okay, guys, I'm going to bring this rod in now. The reason I'm bringing it in, I've had a few bites on it, and I'm thinking it's a strap heel been out there and it's been nibbling away. It's released. It has released. See that bait moving in the tide? Lead actually coming around in the tide. Get up over here a minute. Got another fish on. Thought we did have. Didn't like to say. Could see it the way it was swimming in towards me. Got another silver bar. Another silver bar, guys. Look at that. Right, keep that tip down for a minute. Look at that. Just gonna put this in ratchet for a second. So you can see. But if you can see that there now, got to watch the other hook. That circle work is right in the top of the mouth. Exactly where you want it. And another fine silver bar, not massive fish, but if you eat bass, I don't know if it's in, I wouldn't like to say, I don't know what the limit is now, but I would say about £3-ish. Yeah, just close to £3. But what another fantastic Bristol Channel session. I mean, what a predatory fish, it really is. And it goes to show, that one there was out a distance, but as I said, it's pulled round, it's on the rougher, that's on the like rougher ground, and it's come along, seen that crab, and literally smashed that right up. Now look at that, just perfection, absolutely perfection. Okay, I'm getting back now to fight another day, and yeah, what a session so far. 2 fish out, why not? Well guys, what can I say? The Bristol Channel does it again. A fine predatory bass lurking around in the dark, murky waters of the Bristol Channel. Going to get this one back to fight another day now. Yeah. What a sight. Always nice to see him go back. Okay guys, so second bass out of the day. And that one wasn't close in. So it seems to be a few bass about at the minute. Give a nice little fight as it was coming in. I was, it was heavy and then went light, so I thought it was weed. But as it was coming forward, it was swimming towards me, and then I seen my line going moving around. When I said, you can see the bait going to the left, and as I come in, I seen it come up through, and I thought, yeah, get on, nice one. So yeah, second bait out for the day, which is ideal. So gonna never bait up now. Trying to use these crab up today. I'll give it to the rain, all right? But to be fair, I'm only going to give it half tide down. I'm not going to jump down onto the beach today. I can think of better things to do. But you can get rays in that at low water. I've had them down there at low water. But I did say to myself 2 o'clock, so I can get back for 4 and then try and get this edited, because I won't have a lot of time in the week else. But try and get it on the screens for you more than anything. But yeah, we'll get this one in here now. So yeah, why not? Get this bait elastic, like so. Right, we're here in a minute. There we go. Right, so get that bait elastic around like that. It'd be nice to see a big one, wouldn't it? Nice to see like a 6 or 7 pounder. Always nice. Nice to see a 5 pounder, to be fair. But no matter what, they're going back. As you can see today, there was a few people behind me. They look puzzled when they see me put it back. But as I said, guys, I'm not about killing the fish. I'm about protecting the sport. And I'm not going to sit there and preach to everybody and saying you shouldn't be taking fish and stuff, because, like I said the other day, with the price of bait and stuff like that, you're entitled to take a fish. You know what I mean? Especially if you're going to eat it and that. So yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? But if I can get this bait up out here now. Both fish on that circle hook, okay? Both fish on that circle hook. Because it's basically a dongle rig anyway, guys. With only thing is, it's got a separate hook. You've got an additional hook. I don't see why you wouldn't use it, if I'm honest. I know a lot of the guys, good anglers I know, would always use that over the dongle rig. So I think it's just a phase. if I'm honest. I think someone started it off, and there's a bit of a phase. But for me, and I know people will say, "Oh, you've got more chance of lip hooking than not." You probably have, but 9 times out of 10, that always gets lip hooked anyway. Because as the hook goes to set off, the bait automatically comes forward as the hook goes in, and it always lip hooks a fish anyway. I've always found, so I've never had an issue with it. But sun's out, guns out. Let's get this one in the water. Okay then. Get this one sent out now. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to literally bang him out to the horizon. Hopefully we can see a fish on it. I'm going to really wind this one up now. He's gone. Nice cast. Out past the boys again. Slowing that cast down with these. And getting right into that midsection. Lovely. That'll pull round now. Set that drag. That'll pull round now. Lovely. Come on, 40s. Come on. Oh, that smooth round. Imagine that now. A bit like... There you go. Everyone's not doing a lot. Tempted to chuck 2 out there and put one out further right, but I think I'll stick with the guns. Stick with the one close in. You've got a chance of a big bass then. Cover both of it for you today, why not? I knew I put a crab down earlier on, and I knew I couldn't find it. He's there trying to run away. Okay, so it's 1:15 now. I'm going to put a fresh bait on this one here. And then hopefully get a bit of scent in that water. It's not ticking off like I wanted it to. And we can hopefully see another fish out. Let's try for a ray now, shall we? I could do with a bit of squid now, really. Wind's howling in behind me. Whee. Not lost a lead all day. Saying that, it's a bit of wear and tear on that line there though. That's from fishing in closer in. But no, I think that's a bit of a big two bait really. It's like a massive that there is like a massive double figure bass bait, isn't it? And I don't think we're going to see one of them today. Right, let's get another one baited up and we'll get one out to the horizon, eh? Okay, 7 ounce lead, T1000, let's go. Let the mags off a little bit this one. Try and get them out there. Waiting for that lead to move around. That's all you got to do. Just slow the cast completely down with these rods and it will do everything for you. You try manhandling it and it will manhandle you, I can assure you that. It has got a lot of poke. I've seen people be putting on their backsides with these rods just by casting them wrongly. I mean, it can really, the whip can really catch you off guard. Just got to slow everything down. So, because that's tide screaming off there now, I've loosened my drag slightly. Just allow, when the fish hits, to pick it up and then run. And then we can be right on it then. Come on, let's have it. Lead's playing around and settling at the minute. So, no, all in all, what a lovely day. Hope you've enjoyed it, guys, because I certainly have. It's been nice getting out. Okay, guys. Could it be? Don't know. Maybe a bit of weed on the line. Thought that was going to go then. Tip looked like he was going as well.
Yeah, it's worth
I don't know.
the app is free, so I don't know. I didn't know about that.
I thought that was a ray then. I really did. Started going around like that and it started to go over slightly and take a little bit of line. I thought it was going to start speeding up. Just have to wait. It's a waiting game then, isn't it? Just a waiting game. So I've had to take my reed gear off. Too warm. That right hand rod is still playing. I don't know if I've still got another bass on it, you know. Could be. When it ticked off, I thought it was going to be a ray, but it's one of them. But this looks clear skies behind me. So the time now is 20 past 2. So we're coming up close now, guys. Bait's been in water for a little while now. Definitely had someone playing around with it. I've got no more indications of a bite. So when that scenario, what do? Do you pick it up and reel it in with a fresh crab on there? Or do you leave it? Tempted to leave it for a little bit. As soon as I start seeing the rocks uncover in front of me, I can see it's to the right hand side now. You can see the beach up to the right there, and that's what basically comes across in front of us down here now. You can just see the weed coming off the shelf, so that'll be straight down onto the main ground there then. So I won't be going down there, guys. This will probably be my last cast now. Hopefully we see a fish out on it, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed your day on the Bristol Channel. It's had its ups and downs, but at the same time, it's done us well. It's done us well today. I mean, that beats a blank. A couple of bass out, bending the rod, and not those fish we're after. But at the end of the day, guys, that's fishing, isn't it? It's You put your rod in the water, anything can happen, as I've shown many a times. I mean, especially with the ray hunt series over the years. You look at the ray hunt series, some of the fish we've had out double-figure bullets, big turbot, and big eels, and it's one of them. Anything can pick up your baits, especially when you depending where you are really. I mean, you fish in Chesil, you've got capability of catching near everything on it, on different parts. Bristol Channel again, you've got chance of catching big fish here, big sole. You've got a chance of catching big bass. You've got a chance of catching big smooth hounds, big eels. Anything's possible up here. And as I said before, guys, don't necessarily come up to a lot of the venues and fish and the areas I'm fishing and fish exactly the same as I am. Scale down, you see fish out at the end of the day. I'm fishing the way I fish, and it doesn't mean to say everybody should follow exactly what I'm doing. I mean, my main focus and target is targeting bigger fish, and at the end of the day, if you're first starting out, you don't want to be jumping straight in the deep end and just sitting there for hours and hours waiting for these bigger fish to come through. It could be quite boring. Get into the sport, catch a few fish, and a lot of the time, I find specimen fishing killed the love of fishing for me a little bit, because it took away the fun sort of side of going out fishing. Like today, going out and catching a few fish, and I think I've had a really good day today. I'll leave here happy today. I've had a few fish out, and what more can you ask for? The sun's come out a little bit. We've had a little bit, tiny bit of rain, and then it go away again. Got clear skies coming through now. So what more can you ask for? Right next to the Bristol Channel, flat calm. Wind's been off the back and relatively comfortable, and yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? I'm going to bring this rod in now. The time has come, ladies and gentlemen, to say goodbye to this little magical place. I've had a lovely day, and who knows, I could have a fish on this. I don't think I have. I did have a nice bite on it earlier. These handles, just effortless, guys. It really is. If you've got the fathoms or the new fathoms, whatever, definitely check these handles out, because they transform the reel. I'm going to try and find some for my Saltigas. Trouble with casting so far, you've got to reel it back. They flew today as well, especially with the wind behind me. And yeah, as I said, not lost the lead all day. Now I said that, I'll lose one right at the end. We got it back. We got it back. So lead back, rig back. Gonna put him back down now. Start packing him away, and then we'll bring the other rod in. But all in all, not a bad session, guys. It really is. I doubt I'm gonna have a fish on the other rod. So I think we'll call it a day here. If I do catch a fish, I'll make sure I put it on camera. But from me at Sea Angling Adventures, from the Bristol Channel, tight lines, look forward to seeing you in another adventure. But as I said, before you go, make sure you go down, hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel, guys, and it keeps you updated with all the latest productions from myself and the boys. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Tight lines, guys.